ultimate power in the universe.
At last we will reveal ourselves.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now tuned to LightSaber Radio. If you only knew the power of gods.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to LightSaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Welcome to LightSaber Radio, the most outrageous Star Wars show on the web. Make sure that you bash that subscribe button and click that bell icon to notify yourself of all the new videos we got coming out. And use all the power of the Force to hit that thumbs up. It helps get these videos in front of Star Wars fans so they can join in on the outrageousness. First and foremost, I would like to welcome Kimmie L, a.k.a. Chosen Pumpkin, on TikTok. And that's Pump Kim. So you got to make sure that you put the Kim on the end of it. So how's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Hey,
Actually,
we're
excited
good,
for the
dude.
day itself.
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. So
I'm just glad I'm here. Thank you.
yeah.
Didn't sleep in.
It has
Well-
been 6 months, Garrison.
Listen, I
Dude,
like sleeping in. I do.
I like sleeping in too.
That used
Been
to
a
be
while.
like our niche was to pick on me for sleeping in or missing an episode.
That's true. We need to find a new person to make fun of. I'm just kidding.
Well, you
Listen,
hate on me.
I've taken stuff from people before, so I can handle pretty much anything.
So today we're going to cover a very controversial topic because a lot of people talk about it. Is Star Wars cartoons okay for children? But first, CJ's going to hit us with the hot breaker.
Okay, guys. So the hot breaker is if you had the Millennium Falcon for a week, what would you smuggle and why?
Oh, that's a good one.
See, I was gonna say like, hey, let's get some Twilix on there, but then that's trafficking, and I don't think I want to do that.
You're stealing my
I
idea.
don't think I want a galactic. I don't think I want a
don't think-
galactic federal.
I'm
charge.
not that evil, okay?
Oh, I would start with Kim, but she looks like she is thinking about what she wants to smuggle.
Honestly,
I know what
I would
Kyle's
start
going
with
for.
Kim. I'm gonna smuggle Kim. I'm like, bro, we just said we're not gonna traffic.
I don't know. I think it depends. Like,
Nothing's off limits here.
All
okay,
right, then
but
I will
I'm not.
do the Twilix. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm probably gonna go with weapons. I'm gonna go with weapons. I'm gonna give them to the people that need them to defend themselves, and that's what I'm gonna. That's my safe play. Okay, that's what.
Oh, you're
That's
playing
what's in
it safe. Oh, here we go.
I'm playing
Okay.
it safe.
Dealer.
Well, I don't mind the arms dealing. I'm a big weapons guy myself, so I can dig it. Kyle,
Yes.
what about you?
Garrison stole my idea. I was going to smuggle
I knew
Twilix,
you were gonna say it
Twilix
too.
hookers.
I had to like preface it like we don't condone human trafficking. I had to jump ahead.
Hey, there's slavery in Star Wars. It's okay.
No, that doesn't make it okay.
That doesn't make
Hey, we're talking about Star Wars here. It's okay in Star Wars.
that doesn't mean I'm gonna
It's
participate.
okay. Well, I mean, you are. What if you're taking them away from slavery?
There you go.
And
There you
putting them in.
I'm the Underground Railroad of space.
You'd be helping them. You know what I
I'm the
mean?
Underground
to-
spaceship.
You got Pimp Daddy Sway over here.
No, I'm gonna take them away from the spice mines, and then I'm gonna put them in a brothel. It's not as bad. They have more fun there.
That's worse.
Calm down, Pimp Daddy Sway. What about you, Garrison?
I like Chris's idea with the kyber crystals.
Ooh.
All right.
But when Kim said you could smuggle them away from slavery, yeah, dude, I'm the Underground Railroad.
Mhm.
Underground Falcon, baby. I like
Just
that
saying.
idea.
That's
Call me
the most
Harry
hated
Tubman.
ship by the Empire. You're gonna get found.
What?
Oh, that's why they got the hidden compartments in the Falcon. You know, you can
Yeah.
just
You're
hide.
still gonna
Oh, yeah.
get pulled over. Han had friggin' all the spice from Jabba in the
Yeah.
hidden
He had to
compartments.
dump
He
them?
Still dump
Well,
that
looks
shit.
like you got a dump slave. Sorry.
I'll-
You just dump
Into
them in
the
outer
airlock.
space.
They're like, so we have nope, not life forms anymore floating away.
There's 2 life. There's 15. There's 12. There's There's 2 life forms left on the ship. Oh wow, that got dark real quick. Okay. Honestly, if I was to have the Falcon, being a big Falcon fan and a big Han Solo fan, I honestly would work for some sleaze bags, and I'd be doing what Han Solo is doing, spice and anything nice. I'd just be anything for a buck. It can be from weapons like the Bad Batch was doing, or I could do spice like Han was doing, but I ain't gonna be
Everybody
like Han
has
and
a
chicken
reason.
out. Well,
Everybody has a reason.
Hey, this is my thing. I never got that.
Bullshit walks,
I never got that. Why did the Falcon is like the fastest ship in space? Why did Han dump the spice? Why didn't he just outrun he outruns him the whole rest of Star Wars? Why didn't he outrun him at that time?
Do you remember the original 3 books that they had like in the 90s? At the end of it, there is it goes into that whole ordeal where he goes and picks up Jabba's spice. He ran into an Imperial blockade. So you're running into 3 or 4 ships that are blocking this way. You have 1,000+ troopers and officers that could go through and tear through that ship. They could tear that ship apart practically and find it. So he he threw it into like a kind of a void kind of area where they didn't see it. And then was like, okay, cool. When they pass, when they let me pass and they leave, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna grab it. No, the damn Empire took the spice and was probably hitting the spice on the way to their next outpost.
I'm sorry, I would have hondoed it. I would have just hauled them. I'd have just flew the shit right into the biggest one. Y'all ain't getting my stuff. I ain't going out like no punk. Light speed right into the main ship. Just take them out. Whatever, blow everything up. Let's do it.
You're gonna general holdo them?
Yeah, I'm a general holdo. That's what I meant to say.
That was awesome.
I think that was probably the most like stand up for what you believe in moment. It was like,
right?
I am going to sacrifice the last rebel ship of this size that Leia was on and myself to do this.
I mean, wouldn't you do it?
No, I'd pull Poe Dameron and be talking shit to Hux. Like,
if I had to, I would sacrifice myself.
I'm looking for General Hux. I have an important message from your mom.
No, but the best thing was his look when she did it. Like, because remember, he was trying to overthrow everything, and he wakes up and he's like, boom. He was like, oh man, she was for the real. She wasn't messing us up. She was really trying to save us. His look on his face was priceless.
In the Leia book, she is that person, even in the Leia book as a kid. Like, she's a weirdo, but she like puts her foot down in the right moments. And when I watched that movie after listening to the Leia book, I was like, yo, that totally makes sense. Like, I don't get the pink hair, but it makes sense. Like, she a badass.
What's going on, Obi-Sean, Kenobi, and Chris? How are you guys doing today? So the topic of today. This is a very controversial topic because a lot of people feel both ways. It goes strong one way, it goes strong another way. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like, yeah, it just depends. Like, I let all my kids watch the cartoons. My youngest son used to run around hitting people with lightsabers, so I guess, it probably wasn't the greatest thing for him to watch when he was 3, but...
What you talking about?
You're trying to introduce them to Star Wars. I mean, you go straight to animation. At least I did. I went to animation first. You know what I mean? And because, I mean, with all the colors, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it brings them in. So it was an easy way for me to introduce my kids to Star Wars.
There is some very dark stuff that goes on in especially in the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars is like, holy crap, man! This ain't got a PG-13 rating on here.
Well, because we know what the end result is. You know what I mean? So I feel like it was meant to be darker.
Well, in the beginning, like, it was all playful and funny.
Yeah.
You got Yoda with clone troopers, and he's like trying to teach them a lesson, but be playful at the same time. And the droids are just the droids, and the first appearance of Asajj Ventress and all these things, and it wasn't dark. And then as it progressed, the end of season 3, it was like Dave's like, yo, this ain't working. We got to get dark. We got to get real dark real quick. And it did. We saw clone troopers get killed by assassin droids, and then they wore their armor to try to decoy as them. We saw Rex shoot a clone trooper helmet off the droid, thinking it was a clone. We watched Maul, the resurrection of Maul, and how dark things can make you have a psychotic break to the point where you are literally just out of it. Like
I think Maul was mentally challenged to begin with anyway. I think he was.
Hey, whoa. No attacking Maul.
I'm not attacking him, but it's the truth.
He was crazy.
Is the truth.
Yeah, he's crazy as hell. He was crazy to begin with.
I'm sorry. I loved his story arc. I think he was one of the best story arcs out of the Clone Wars, other than like the whole Mandalorian, the siege of Mandalorian siege in season 7. And even then, that had Maul in it.
Like all the best episodes in Clone War had Maul in it. Maul, come on. Now, you got to think about it like this. Now, you want to go to a dark place. Maul and Savage killed an entire village just to attract the Jedi. They just killed everybody.
No, it wasn't the Jedi. It was Obi-Wan. It was literally...
Yeah, but they knew they had to get Obi-Wan there. Get
Obi-Wan. Like, you keep waiting. People are going to die. I want Obi-Wan. It wasn't, hey, bring Anakin and Ahsoka. It was like, I want one person out of the 1,000 people in your damn order here, or I'm gonna slaughter children. Like, he didn't hesitate either. Like, you saw him decapitate people in the background.
I think with the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. I was gonna just say it's revenge. You know what I mean? It does crazy things to people. So
I think Chris makes a good point. Sorry, not that one. Whoops. It's like, I think there's a pretty easy distinction you can make between animated violence and live action. Like, I think it's pretty easy to separate those two. While live action violence is going to be way darker, for some reason, animation dumbs it down. And maybe it's like desensitizing kids, but that's a whole other discussion. I think when it's a cartoon, it's a little bit easier to consume rather than like a live action violence. And so I feel like that's a fair point from Chris.
And the thing is like I felt like Dave tapped into that live action violence with Clone Wars because it got, like I said, it got grittier. You got to also remember that Dave isn't the only one that wrote the Clone Wars. A lot of that was written by George Lucas. And George Lucas, when you go to the movies, I mean, come on, like he disintegrated Obi-Wan when Darth hit him with the lightsaber. He just disappeared. Like, okay, that's not even real. You know what I'm saying? You got people on fire. They burning Darth Vader. You got Anakin on fire screaming, I hate you. You know what I'm saying? So George had a little bit of darkness in him. You watch Jango Fett get decapitated in the wild.
Well, the thing is, like, it's Star Wars. Like, with the dark side, with anything with the dark side, you got to get dark. You got to get deep, and you got to get kind of scary. Like, I think that's one of the best parts of Star Wars is how we can kind of explore that side. And like that's one of the things I haven't liked about the sequels as much. I feel like they weren't as dark as what a dark side exploration kind of requires.
They were playful. They had more jokes than darkness. Like you had moments like when Han Solo was killed, and then you have moments in the other one where Snoke was chopped in half, and that was probably the darkest it got. And then in the last movie, you had Leia passing. That was the darkest moment, other than Rey stabbing Ben and then bringing him back to life. It was like, oh, that's dark. Good for you, Rey. You killed the dark side. And then next thing you know, she saves him. It was like every time there was a dark moment, there was also a meaning and a light side to it. With Dave's writing and George's writing, there was a dark side and it stayed dark. They were adamant on, hey, Vader's going to go to the temple and he's going to eliminate everything. He's going to kill the women and the children. Anything in sight, anything within a five-step parameter of him, he took it out with a lightsaber.
Okay, I'm 44 years old, and on the Bad Batch episode with them flying bugs, or them bugs in when they were in that cave thing, that shit gave me nightmares. And I'm a grown man, so you can't tell me there ain't some darkness because I'm grown, so I could just imagine when little kids was like, "Holy crap! Oh God!"
Phoenix will sit there and like crawl in my lap. I don't like those, Dad. I don't like them. I don't either. And Rucker definitely don't like them. He's screaming on the mic right now.
That's just bugs, bro. Bugs can be animated or whatever. They're scary.
Yeah,
like,
they're
the
scary.
War, the prime example, the Geonosian zombies. that were ran by
Yes.
the little worms.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yes, I watched that episode yesterday and I'm just like, oh God, it's so, ugh.
Yeah,
No,
and just
no,
think,
thank you.
That's dark.
That was dark. Yeah.
Zombie ran bugs. Like you literally, they crawled into your nose aggressively and then took over your brain and tried to
Yes.
kill everything in sight.
What about when Anakin gets jealous and beats up that dude? Like he like
Oh, yeah.
thrashes that
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, like that's pretty dark right there. That's like complete and utter violence. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know if this is okay for a kid to watch. So you can't just go to school and be beating the hell out of everybody because they made you mad.
About
Yeah, dude, I did.
It's nose for hitting her. What are you talking about?
But still, I mean, I do let my kids watch that. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe that says something about me, but they know right
All
from
my
wrong.
kids
You know what I
watched it.
mean? Yeah.
All my kids watched it. Like I was like, dude, this Star Wars. Like I let them watch the regular
Yeah.
movies. My youngest son, when he was like 6, his favorite movie was Machete. Like he
Right.
loved that movie. He watched it every day. That's probably the darkest thing you could. That's like the most. Oh God, that's
Well, it's like my son, he's in right now, he's really big into World War II. So like,
Okay.
yeah, like he knows, like sometimes he says to me, he's like, Mom, that's not real. That is not real. He's like, this is real. I'm like, sweet. Okay, well, let's watch this.
At least you know how to distinguish what is an animated show
Yeah.
and what actually happened. But understand, a lot of what's happening in this animated show happens in
Yes.
real life.
Yeah. Well,
And-
he took his like he wanted World War II aspects in the actual movies and show. Like he took inspiration from it, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you had the enslavement camps of
Mhm.
the slaves on that one episode that Ahsoka's whole planet got enslaved by
Yeah.
the separatists, and then you saw how that affected Anakin.
Oh.
You could see the PTSD and the flashbacks and the dark memories because even the queen that runs that was like, he's got something wrong with him. Like he's tapping into something really emotional when he was fighting all those guards. Like she pointed that out. And then they threw him in cages over the building. Like that's actually real stuff that used to happen back in the day. Like
Right.
they put you in a cage and they display you for the crowd and the crowd would throw shit at you. Like,
well, I mean, look at it like this. If you really break it down, a lot of George's stuff came from wars, from samurais, from ancient lore, all these different things. And all ancient lore is usually something that has to do with something that happened and people made it, they created this mimic of it that was a little bit more like the gods and stuff. Like this man was a god and he destroyed all this stuff and and it was just some dude with an army that actually did it. Cause like there's like even lore that Genghis Khan was a god. And it's like, nah, I mean, Genghis Khan was a real dude. But, most of the things is based off of factual things and then it's being changed. And George used that stuff in the creation of Star Wars. So just knowing that, it can't be all fairy tales and,
Right.
unicorns. It got to have some darkness in it. If not, we'd all been sitting there like, if it was all, ponies and Care Bears, we would not be having this show right now. We'd all be sitting there like, I ain't watching this
Exactly.
crap. This is boring.
but we're talking about this because is it a little too dark? That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes. I think that
Yeah.
I think overall it was created to be a kid's show. And then at some point there was like, okay, we need to make this a little bit more because we need to draw in the adult crowd a little bit more. We got it too kiddish. And that's why in about season 3, maybe into
Yep.
season 2, it started, of Clone Wars anyway, it started going a little bit darker. But I think a lot of it has to do with parenting. Like, do you sit down with your kids and watch this and explain to your children, this is not real. This is a cartoon. Do you parent your children? Because if you're not parenting your children, you just stick on the Clone Wars for 3-4 hours a day and just let them watch Clone Wars and then go outside and play. Of course, they're gonna run and hit their friends in the face with a stick, like it's gonna happen. I think it all has to do with if you are parenting. I don't think anything is bad for children to see, especially because most of the stuff that we watch on TV happens in the real world. You got gun violence, you got wars, you got all these things that are happening. So, do you sit down and discuss with your children? You know, hey, this stuff right here, this cartoon is not real. You know, the stuff that you watched on this movie, this stuff happens. But, you know, it's not always right in front of your face. And don't be the cause of that. You know, think things through. You know, use common sense. You know, teaching your children just.
I really feel like Dave kind of realized that his viewers are growing up with the show, so he has to progress how the age is approached through every episode. And it's like, hey, you know, when I started this, the kids that are watching this are the age brackets of 5 and 8, and each season is like, okay, it's 6 and 9, it's 7 and 10, and I feel like with it, every season it progressed with the age gap because kids are learning about, like at the time, the war. Like we were at war when this show started, and we had a lot of dark things being discovered. And
have we ever not been in war? I think we've been in war since the beginning of the creation of the United States. There's been some type of conflict going on.
Yep, back to back.
We had like a good 10 years between 1930 and 41. We had 10 years of just peace, and then that's it. We were like, nope, sorry, we're bored. Like, we can't do this no more.
Well, it's like, I think that with my family, it's like we're a military family, so my son's used to that life and the stuff that involves that life. You know what I mean? So it's easier for me. But as far as like a normal family going to watch, I think Kyle's right. I think it has a lot to do with if you're sitting there explaining to your kid, hey, that's not real. I mean, you can get into like, oh, it's based on, but you could wait to do that. You don't need to do that. You could tell them, hey, that weapon, it doesn't exist. It's not real. Being in space, you know, these wars, it's not real. So
I don't know about the not real part with the lightsaber. People will be trying to create lightsabers.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
People trying to make that happen.
No, what's really bad is when you tell them lightsabers ain't real, and then you go to Walmart and there's a lightsaber. Say you told me it wasn't real. That's a toy. It's not going to cut nobody in half.
Real. That's a Nerf gun. You know that's a Nerf gun. You have like 4 at home.
Yeah.
Quit it.
But I think Kim, you're right that, you know, when being in the military, well, I don't know about, I've never been in the military, but I have family members that's been in the military, and like for them, like my uncle set me down. He was in Korean War, and he set me down and told me about the things that happened in the Korean War. And I was like, holy crap. I thought we won the Korean War. He was like, hell no, we got our ass whooped. China came and kicked our ass, and we ran like we went back to South Korea, and we got our ass whooped. And I was like, dude, for the reals, they don't teach you that in school. It's like, oh, it was just a conflict and it ended. They don't tell you about we got slaughtered. You know, they sent in 1 million Chinese troops, and we just got handled. You know, I didn't know about none of that. But then, you know, so for us to teach our children, you know, and just talk to them and say, hey, you know, this is a cartoon, and in cartoons things can happen. This dude can do 100 backflips and over this edge and land, you know, and do all this stuff. You can't do that in real life. Don't try it. You're gonna break your neck, you know, type of situation.
Right. I think it shows kind of the difficult situation that like Star Wars creators are put in, though, because like on the one hand with adults want kind of more that deeper, darker exploration into like the dark side, into that emotional struggle and struggle between people that Star Wars was so great about in the prequels, you know, like that deep, dark stuff. But then on the other hand, like Star Wars is a great opportunity for kids, right? There's all that stuff that kids can be drawn to, which you can't make it too dark for them. You need to make it a little bit more light and funny. So it's like they're caught in the middle, and it's kind of like they're trying to please both. And I don't know if that works. Sometimes you just got to choose one or the other.
And I feel like Dave really chose one side after season 3. I really do.
I don't know if he did. I feel like, for me at least, watching the Clone Wars, it still seems like they were trying to please both sides.
Yeah.
And with the sequels, like it just seemed like they were trying to please both sides. And when you please both sides, it works better for the kids than I think it does for the adults. I think if you're gonna do adults, you got to do adult stuff. You got to go deep dark.
Well, I mean,
which, like, I would think you keep like TV shows for kids, and then you make more like movies and like other kinds of TV shows for adults. But I mean, with Disney, they kind of got to do both, I guess.
Yeah. I can see that. Well, I think that's why we have live action. Well, we can enjoy the cartoons. It's not something that we necessarily
Oh no, no, no.
Because
we
not
can
everybody
enjoy
likes
them.
them.
Because there's some people like, oh, you're a kid because you watch cartoon. Well, then I'm going to
Right.
be a 44-year-old kid because I love watching Clone Wars and I love the Bad Batch. But at the same time, it's like, just because you don't. And then my thing is, I hate. This is what now. This is something that I hate a lot. I just hate it. I hate it so much. Is when people are like, oh, I can't stand the cartoons. I can't believe you watch cartoons. But then they be saying there, who is this person? When they show up in live action or something like that. If you'd have watched the Clone Wars, you would have known who this person was. Or if you'd have watched Rebels, you would have known who this person was.
I used to be one of those people. I'm a little bit more open to cartoons. But at the same time, like a lot of people, like when I first started watching Clone Wars, dude, I could not get through the first couple seasons. It was just so boring and kiddish to me.
It was hard for me to get through the first season.
And so, like, I can understand that a lot of people don't want to watch the cartoons. And so that's why I think the idea of having just completely separate, have a kids section of Star Wars and have adult section of Star Wars.
Well, we're not going to get that anyway.
Well, we're not going to get it. We're not going to get it because it's Disney. And you have to like accept that. So I understand that they don't want to watch the cartoons, but it also I can see that kind of sucks, like missing out on like who these characters are when they find a show that they do want to watch.
Chris brings up a very good point. Do you think parents make an exception for the violence in the shows if they themselves are big Star Wars fans and want their kids to enjoy it?
That's a good point.
I can't really say that because I let my kids watch what they wanted to watch. I never filtered my kids from being able to watch it. I mean, like all my kids love horror movies. They all four of them love horror movies. They'll sit there and watch horror movies over and over again. And they all have since they was little because I took the time out to tell them that, we'll watch it. And then I'll be like, this is not real. You know, there's not no monster going to come out your closet and kill you. This is all made up. And then I would even like go on YouTube and show them the making of it. Like, see, they're making the costume right here and stuff like that to show them as they grew. So they love horror films now. And the same thing with like, with Star Wars, I let them watch Star Wars. I let them watch all the cartoons because I enjoyed watching them, but I let them watch them and I just explained to them like, this is just a cartoon. Even with the movies, this is just a movie. This is not real. There's not people flying around in outer space that we know of that are, just having big space battles and doing all this stuff like we're seeing on TV. This is not real. This is all stuff that is created for us to enjoy. And all my kids turned out great. My kids, my grandkids is good. My 5-year-old grandson, he loves Star Wars. He watches everything. He'll call me and, he'll talk about it. Like, oh, Big Pop, they were doing this on, Bad Batch. I like Wrecker or I like, Hunter. And it's like, all right. And then I explain to him and then I tell my daughter, make sure you're explaining to him that this stuff isn't real when you let him watch this stuff on TV. Just like I did with you guys. So I think it's all boils back to just parenting and just telling your kids whether or not it's good or whether or not it's, real and fake and just, kind of controlling the narrative. You can't allow the show or what they see on TV to control the narrative of their lives. Because we know that a lot of parents do that, and then we see where their kids is at. Their kids is in prison or they're out there doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. So it's just all about parenting, and you can really view the world and see, the parents that was their parenting and the parents that wasn't their parenting. So that's where you really have to draw the line. Is it a kid show or not? It's a kid show if it's explained. It's not a kid show if it's not explained.
Exactly.
So that all falls back on the parents.
I don't know. With Phoenix, like I said, we just started watching Clone Wars. So she sees Yoda and she thinks Baby Yoda. And I'm like, no, that's just Yoda. I promise.
That's Baby Yoda's daddy. No.
Yeah, child support I will not pay. But no, and she always asking a billion questions at a million miles an hour. We'll go through 4 or 5 episodes every couple days. She'll go back to her kid cartoons like Bluey and stuff, but she'll have a day where she'll come up to me, Dad, can we watch Clone Wars? Yeah. I'm not gonna tell you no. Like, it's Star Wars. Like, your middle name is Amidala. Like, you kind of have a birthright. Like,
That's awesome.
And she'll ask questions. Like we got to, I think, the middle of season 3, and she was asking questions about Anakin and why he looks evil. I said, well, he becomes Vader. And she's like, no, Darth Vader's Darth Vader. That's not, and she'll point at the TV, that's not Darth Vader. I'm like, he turns into Darth Vader. No. And I'm like, I'm not arguing with you yet. Just wait. Like, and that's like, she's 2, about to be 3. And she's like, I'll explain some things if she doesn't understand. Like, she'll ask why they're doing, like, why are they on the ship? Oh, well, they're going to go do this. Why do all those guys look the same? Well, they're clone troopers, and this is how this was made. And oh, they don't have a mommy or a daddy. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And
that's a tough one to explain.
Oh yeah. Try explaining that to a 2-year-old. Cloning. Okay, I suggest all the fans inform their children about what cloning is, because I swear. My daughter thinks that clone, like Rex, has 40 different outfits. She's like, oh, that's Rex. I'm like, no, that's Commander Bly. Oh, that's Rex. No, that's Cody. And then when we watched the Bad Batch, I love that they made them all look different, because now that kids can distinguish which one they like the most. Like and this is where I figured out she's a little psycho. She likes Crosshair more than anybody.
Yes. Yes.
He looks
right.
Her explanation, he looks cool and I like his rifle. What?
Oh man.
You don't like Wrecker? Wrecker's goofy. Oh gosh, you're 2.
Wrecker is perfect, okay? Wrecker's perfect.
Well, my son giggles. He giggles when he sees Wrecker. Like, he hears Wrecker's voice and he gets all excited and like runs up to the TV and he just like jumps up and down. And I'm like, cool, we could kick it. Like we'd be fine, little man. But like, she likes Crosshair and she loves the Empire. I don't know if you've been talking to my kid, Kyle, but she shouldn't be liking the Empire.
Hell, Palpatine for president, 2024.
But no, and I think like we were saying, telling them like, hey, this isn't real. You're not going to go outside and see this up in the air. You're not going to see this on the ground. This is a cartoon, but understand there is this similar darkness out in the world, and you got to be careful of that. You don't want to be like that. You want to be more like this. Oh gosh, my woman's in the chat. Cass apparently does too. You said Crosshair and he started clapping. Yay! How neat. Oh yay, I have 2 Imperial spies in my household. Fun.
He's still my favorite. I don't know.
No,
he's the one that made the whole. I mean, to me, Crosshair made the actual show what it was. Without Crosshair, the show would have been kind of just like, I don't think anybody else could have played the bad guy the way he did. He played the bad guy good. He just made it really, really interesting.
Do we think he's going to be the big bad in the next season? I really want to get that out there.
I don't know. I think that they're going to be. I don't know what they're going to do. It's kind of hard to predict with that, because you look at it and you're like, all right, you want this to happen. And sometimes your wants cloud your judgments on what's actually going to happen. I think they're going to be more storytelling in this one, and they're going to go through like what's actually happened. I don't think it's going to be too much. I think it's going to be more of them, going to help different people out instead of, or they're either going to help people out or they're going to go find other clones and capture them and get their chips taken out. I think that's what they're going to do. That's my personal opinion. That's what I would like to see.
Still dead set on a clone versus stormtrooper battle.
That would be so dope. And
I wanted it on Kamino, because when you listen to, there's like a YouTube video before all this came out and they like obliterated Kamino, which broke my heart. I'm still not happy about that. But there's a thing where Boba Fett came to Kamino because the Empire tried to take over Kamino and pretty much destroy it. He came and helped train more clones to fight the Empire. And the clones and the stormtroopers had a battle, but there was more stormtroopers, and they had the Inquisitors involved against the clones, and the clones got wiped out, and that's how they went out. And I was like, oh, I'm okay with that story. I'm okay with that being a 15 episode friggin' arc.
Yep.
That would be dope. But that, that's not going to happen. It's going to be all drawn out. Because then, if they did that, then that would be the end of the Bad Batch, and we can't have that yet. We got to have a couple more seasons at least I hope they have a couple more seasons of the Bad Batch. I like the Bad Batch.
I have this theory that Crosshair is going to die for them. He's going to save them somehow. There's something going to happen.
Oh, like a redemption.
Is it a Vader
Yeah.
kind of thing? Like he sits there and he
Redemption.
goes back to the Empire, and Vader's like, "What happened?" Kind of moment, and Crosshair kind of just
Somebody's
like, "Oh,
gonna
this," and then he warns them, and Vader just hits him with a lightsaber.
I think everybody's going to die on the
I don't know.
Clone Wars
Somebody's got to
except
die.
Hunter. I think Hunter's going to last. Like Hunter's going to go into hiding or something. Like we're going to see Hunter in live action Kenobi or something like that.
I would lose my shit.
Yeah.
Like that would be like I had a dream about that the other night. Like Hunter was in Kenobi. I was like, oh, this is dope. Like live action Hunter.
I don't know if I
kinda
want
hoping it was
Cody or-
Wrecker.
Well, they were saying that they were going to bring him into live action. I don't know if that's still happening, but there were rumors that was going to happen. So
That would be cool.
Like instead of Cody, it's Hunter. I would lose my mind.
yeah.
I don't get me wrong. I want Commander Cody. Like I would love to see him stand up to an Inquisitor because he got his chip taken out, and that's how Kenobi finds out. He goes to the other planet. Kenobi, is like, oh, I know Cody's here. I'm gonna go see my old friend. He's finally not real. He finally realized what he did was wrong. Shooting me off a rock, dickhead. But and does that, and the Inquisitor takes out Cody, and
Yeah.
that's
You're
what
gonna
kind of
put
leads.
Tamara Morrison in a wig?
No, Cody doesn't got hair.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Hunter.
No. Why would you do that to him?
Hunter don't even look like. I mean, like
That's what
Hunter
I'm
really
saying.
doesn't
You're
look like
that'd be
Tamara
cool if they brought
Morrison.
Hunter, and
So
I'm like, what?
they're all altered a little bit. So they could bring in another actor to play
I
Hunter,
guess that's
or
true. That's
because they don't. They kind of have resemblances, but they don't look like none of the Bad Batch really, except for
They
Echo.
look like siblings instead of like.
Yeah,
Right.
they don't. They don't look like. So I wouldn't see Tamara Morrison being Hunter. They could get somebody else to play Hunter. Like I don't know. There's plenty of. Who would you get to play Hunter? If you could get somebody to play Hunter in live action, who would you pick?
Ooh. That's a hard.
DH.
That's a hard question.
Sylvester Stallone.
No.
Oh my
Yeah, he's
God.
still-
As much as,
You
as much
resemble
as
him.
as much as I love
He's literally Rambo. You can't tell me he's not.
Yeah.
as much
no.
as I love Sly, you're not doing that to him. It's like making Wrecker the Rock.
No, I
I'm
can't
not
do that.
okay.
Perfect. We're casting them perfectly. All right, who's Crosshair? We're casting a live action.
I don't.
I'm
I
looking
think,
I'm looking at actors right now in the business. So,
I think what's his face? What's his name? Why my brain don't ever work when we get on? As soon as we start the show, it's like my brain shuts off. Dude that played Batman.
Oh, that would be
Oh.
good.
Oh,
Robert
hold up.
Pattinson.
Yeah,
Wait.
no, not Robert Pattinson.
Robert
Hell,
Christian
not, hell
Bale.
no, the other
Christian
Batman.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale,
Christian
yeah.
Bale, that's what I'm talking about. Ooh,
Yeah,
I
not
did
Robert
that.
Pattinson. I don't even know what they. Robert Pattinson didn't even play a good Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that dude's from Twilight. That dude's skinny as hell. He can't be anorexic and be Batman. That don't work.
I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen it yet. My husband refuses to go and
It's
see
terrible. Don't even
Addison
waste your
loved
time.
it. I hated it. So.
Yeah, it was terrible. I was like,
You
what the
guys
hell?
are just negative Nancy's.
It was terrible, man. Like he is not convincing.
The writing,
Oh.
the writing compared to an actor's ability. Because if you've seen any of his other work, he is a young Bruce Willis. I was thinking the same thing, babe, but
That's-
not the point.
That's a good point.
That's
I
terrible.
like
Bruce
Ford's
Willis.
idea.
As
That's
Crosshair,
good!
Sorry, that's not a good idea. Bruce Willis. Die Hard. That dude's like Bruce
I'm
Willis.
sorry on that
Nah,
one.
man, you got to get somebody that's like looks like. I mean, that kind of resembles who he would look like. He don't look like Bruce Willis.
Chris
Don't look,
Hemsworth as Hunter.
No.
nah, I don't
No?
see that.
I was thinking Tom Hiddleston
For
as
me,
Crosshair
Hunter
'cause
needs
he
to be
plays
like a
great
little
villain.
like tanner, I guess. You know what
Mm.
I mean? Because they're clones. They're still going to look like somewhat like Polynesian, like the original actors. So they need to be at least like
Someone like
really
roughed
tan.
up. Roughed
yeah,
up too.
roughed
because
up
they're
and
like,
tan.
yeah.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, yep, that would be good.
I could see that.
I
For
could see
He'd be a
Hunter?
good record
For
too,
Hunter.
though. Just
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm
he's
saying.
so big.
But I can't
But
see him
I-
bald. Like if he didn't have no
Yeah,
hair, he would
yeah.
look weird as hell.
Maybe.
Like really, Like
Yeah,
you would
that's
have
true.
to. Like if
think
I was
the
gonna
Rock
get
for
Wrecker,
Wrecker. The Rock for Wrecker, bro.
nah,
I hate
would
it,
get
but I love it.
I would get what's his face? What's the dude that plays oh man, what's his he's also he was a wrestler too.
Oh,
Brock Lesnar.
Brock?
Oh.
No, I wouldn't
Brock
put
Lesnar.
Brock in that situation.
Yeah,
He's not a
Brock
good
Lesnar would be a
actor.
great wrecker because he's just big and stupid.
I'm
We could
telling
do
you,
the
that's
big
what
show.
I'm like.
If you want to be technical, we could do the big show.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm
Well, we
worried
could do
about
Dave
him playing
Bautista.
Wrecker.
Batista would be a great wrecker. He's big. He's burly. He's already got short hair. He's been shaving his head lately because
would
he's
be-
playing Drax
I think
one last
Batista
time.
or The Rock for me.
I don't know about The Rock. The Rock is just Wrecker's not like Wrecker's just big. He's not like all like muscular like that. He doesn't look like that. He's just a big guy. You got to find somebody to just.
What about
big and
Roman
just-
Reigns?
Put stuff. He'll have armor on. He'll look fine. It'll work.
But
It's like
then
Roman Reigns. He's in the
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah.
He can play wrecker. He's big. He's 6'7", 6'8". Like I'm looking here, he's like 6'8", 6'7", something like that. He's tall as shit. He's buff as hell. I just
I'm
don't
looking him
see
up.
him being a goofy.
Oh, I see it. I see
Yeah.
it. I see what you're
I
saying.
just don't see him.
Shaquille O'Neal then.
Shaquille O'Neal could play wrecker because he just big. But then you gotta get then you'd have to cast it because they're all brothers. Well, I guess if you take and you really think about it, that they're all changed. They're
Right.
all.
Bro,
They don't necessarily
no,
have to be a certain color or something like that to all be brothers because they were all altered. So anybody could play any part.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I was
Dude,
thinking like Tom Hiddleston
who's-
as Crosshair because he plays a hell of a villain for Loki,
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris, the mountain from Game of Thrones is Wrecker.
He can barely talk. Wrecker's goofy as hell. He's just gonna be
I
like,
don't know,
no,
dude.
no.
He'd be
No.
physically imposing enough.
But Wrecker is goofy. You can't be physically imposing without the goofiness. That's what made Wrecker Wrecker.
Okay,
That's
I
true.
guess
That is true.
Okay.
That is
that's
true.
fair. That's fair.
You gotta at least be able to talk. You can't just mumble. You gotta be able to talk.
That's-
I gotta understand you.
Well, it's just because he's got a super thick accent. I feel like, and
What if they all had like Australian accents though? Like all of the clones. Like every
it's
single
more
one.
like in New Zealand, but yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's,
it's cool.
like they all had like some crazy accent. And they're like, what the hell are they talking about? Like what? That's not how the cartoon was. All live action dudes from like Switzerland or something, that you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they saying? Or all Chinese dudes. They get all Chinese guys to play all the Bad Batch. And you're like, what the hell? What are you saying?
Let's wrangle this back in. What's our favorite dark moment in Clone Wars? I gotta pull this out.
The favorite dark moment?
Yeah. Like what made you think, oh shit, my son shouldn't have seen that, or oh shit, my kids should not be watching this in this moment?
When Maul kills Satine. That's the darkest moment I think that there is. Because he holds her by the force and stabs her through the abdomen with the Darksaber. That is just dark. And they make Obi-Wan Kenobi watch it. Like, dude, that was like a horrifying scene. Like, it was horrifying for me, and I was a grown man. Like,
That's like every man's fear, though, is like watching the love of their life get killed right in front of them. That is okay, babe. I get it. We already said that. I know you're in the other room, and I know you can hear me.
She agrees with me.
Hey, CJ, leave Tori alone.
Yeah, I'm digging her choices. I like it.
I like Tori.
I'm getting. You guys are okay. So we went to Walmart a couple weeks back. I have the whole box set of Rambo. You're telling me I don't like Sly? I have Rambo, the whole box set of Rocky. I have all his movies that he's made. Demolition Man. Like, come on.
Demolition Man was a terrible movie.
Fight me. I love Demolition Man.
Demolition Man was terrible.
Or Copland, where it's like Cop Island and stuff. Like, I love all his work. Pound sand.
Like, I love Sly. Sly, man, come on. Couldn't nobody else have been Rambo?
Nobody else could have been Rocky.
Yeah, nobody else could have been Rocky. Like, but Demolition
Sylvester
Man was just a
Stallone
terrible
is
story.
Rambo. He is
Yeah.
Rocky.
But you can't, like, that movie was just terrible. It didn't have nothing to do with his acting. The movie itself was just terrible. It was poor written and no storyline. It was just terrible.
Okay. Back to the dark moments. We keep going back into this. I'm trying to wrangle us, but I'm not doing so hot. No, I think the darkest moment I remember was to me, it was when Maul and Savage first meet, and you just see the psychological mind of what's going on with Maul and how it just ruined him to a point where he took any and every life possible that led up to him killing Satine. I think the build up of Maul, like Sam Witwer, tapped into that on a whole nother level. Like he saw that and was like, cool, I'm gonna do it like this. And all the guys, like if you watch the interview of how he like did that first take of him in the cave, the whole sound booth that was recording and watching him was scared shitless because he was going psycho. The guy that was playing Savage that was standing next to him was like, he's crazy. Like it's like I think Maul gave us a beautiful but dark arc that led us into kind of an open door of more darkness introduced into Star Wars.
Okay.
Especially in Clone Wars.
That's a good thing. Get off of Sam's nuts.
Hey, leave me alone. I love his voice acting.
We already
and I
know he
love
got a
Maul.
restraining order against you, you freak.
Hey, whoa. It's up to 200 feet. I can still see him. I just can't go any closer.
What do you got, Kim?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Maul killing Sabine because like it was a lot to handle. And Obi-Wan, you see like the shock in his eyes, and it's just I don't know, that moment always stuck with me. And how do you explain that to your kid? Like, okay, well, so yeah, they killed her, but you know, it's not real. It's not real. It kind of is. Like, I don't know. It's a complicated scene, and I always thought it was on the darker side. So, but really, Maul in general, anything having to do with him, it got darker. It was beautiful. But I'd say it could be anything, any episode or any situation Maul was in, and it took it that much further.
Thank
Just
you,
Maul in
Chris.
general.
That was another thing I was going to pull up is when they went and saw Black Sun and Maul just throws his lightsaber and takes out everybody, turns to his left and be like, I guess you're in charge. And like the guy is intimidated to the point where he's like, yes, we will join you. I don't want to join that.
I mean, there's a lot of dark moments, but I think the only reason that the Obi-Wan and Satine and Maul killing Satine was stuck out, because I think that's the very first time that a cartoon actually gave me like an emotional response. Like I was like, oh my God, did he just hold her up by the force, choking her and stab her? Like, dude, that is so like just, oh Jesus. And just the look on Obi-Wan's face, like you could actually feel what he was feeling. Like, so like that was like the very first time that a cartoon had ever given me like a real emotional response as an adult.
I thought it was a good thing though. It was good.
Like Satine and Obi-Wan's past and stuff. I think that played a huge part into why I got so, I guess, emotional in that part. I mean, my kids have not seen that moment yet. My youngest is he doesn't understand any of it yet. My oldest, he's getting into Clone Wars, but he's not there yet. But the fact that Obi-Wan was planning to leave, he would have left, the Jedi for her, that was, it's heartbreaking. That entire moment was heartbreaking. And just seeing Satine on in his arms, it was
watching
a lot.
Watching the life leave her, and the last thing she says is, "I will always love you," while caressing his face. Like
it's a lot.
The thing with that, that whole the Death Watch into Maul arc, and then how they got together, how we started with the Death Watch was they literally enslaved a whole village and killed all the women because the men in the village wanted their women back, and they went up and tried to torch the whole village, and then we led straight into Maul right after that, and Maul it led into that whole Satine thing, the fact that when you saw her die and you could see the flashback of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and he's holding Qui-Gon the same way. And then later on in Rebels, you saw it again when he kills Maul. He strikes Maul down, and he's holding Maul the same way he holds Satine. I
still think to this day that was the worst mistake that Maul ever made. He should have just killed Obi-Wan right then. I don't know why he drove that out. He could have ended all that.
He got mad because Obi-Wan took Qui-Gon's stance in that moment, and he's like, "Oh, if he's gonna fight like Qui-Gon, I can kill him like Qui-Gon."
No, I'm talking about when Kenobi was holding Satine.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he could have just killed him right then. Obi-Wan wasn't caring about nothing in the world except looking at her. He could have just been like, "Rah," and they would have been done.
He wanted the challenge, though.
He waited all that time,
challenge.
and then he gets killed. Maul gets killed. Like, dude, you're stupid, man. You couldn't beat him the first time. What makes you think you could beat him the second time? And he had the perfect opportunity to kill him right then, and he didn't take it.
But I'm telling you, I think it had a lot to do with that challenge. If he was going to go out by Kenobi, he wanted that fight back. That's what I think. You know, that's just.
I think the biggest thing is we saw that fight when Maul first came back on that.
Yeah.
Great. And Maul the whole time, I can see, he pulled up and he's like, "I slayed your master," and yada, yada, yada. And Obi-Wan got instantly pissed. Like, you saw Obi-Wan get mad, which isn't supposed to be a thing with the Jedi. And it led to a fight where Kenobi got his ass kicked. So I feel like Obi-Wan realized, like, hey, every time I've gotten mad, Maul's just beating me worse. I think with him killing Satine, I think he was like, "I will have my moment with you. And you will go the way I want you to go." And that's what we got in Rebels. We got that whole holding him after trying to be cocky and do the same thing he did to Qui-Gon, where he punts him in the face with the lightsaber and then stabs him.
But do you think that Rebels was less dark than Clone Wars?
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
The only real dark time that I really felt like there was in Rebels is when Kanan kills the Grand Inquisitor. That was kind of dark. And then when Thrawn destroys Bendu, when they just start blasting into the sky and Bendu's up there, them was like the two darkest times. And then it was a little bit dark.
I thought Kanan going out was dark when he was holding, he shoves.
That was inspirational though. That wasn't like dark to me.
That was
more
dark though.
It was
dark to me though, because it was in like you said, that first moment. Like, I got that with Satine and Kenobi, like you, Kyle. But at the same time, I got the same reaction from Kanan force pushing Hera back and being like, "No, you can't."
I don't know. That was more like the emotional response I got off of that was more of a, you know what I'm saying? This is a real Jedi. He became a Jedi at that point. Before that, he was just some guy trying to figure out how to be a Jedi, figure out how to train Ezra. He was some Padawan. He never got all the training. And at that moment, he knew that he had to make the ultimate sacrifice, which any Jedi would do to save the people that he needs to save. So that was more like an inspirational thing than it was like a dark moment. That was like showing that, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, and that's who the Jedi really are. They're people that will sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Now, when Ezra shoots him and Thrawn, the thing go and shoot him and Thrawn out into space, that was dark because, like, I didn't feel inspired. I was like, oh, God, he's going to kill himself to get rid of Thrawn. Like, just for one man.
Chris, your point. If somebody want to pull up that bottom one?
Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I loathe Pong Crab.
I hate him.
Oh my God, I hate that man. He turned clones again. I'm sorry, I'm a big clone guy. When you turn your brothers against each other and you literally just go ham, I was happy when he got shot.
I was very happy when he died.
I never cheered at a show. I was like, oh, that was a good moment, or hey, that was pretty cool. I got up and I was like yelling, like you deserve that, you fucking ass, like you had it coming. Yeah, like, this is what you get. I'm like,
he was a good bad guy.
Hey Garrison, what was your favorite dark moment, or what dark moment stands out to you in Clone Wars?
Like my favorite, or like what was
just which one gave you the most response? Which one do you recall when you think about dark moments in Clone Wars?
So you guys hate Pong Krell? I like him. I thought he was a good element to the show. I thought that was a great bad guy, great idea. He's a bad guy and you hate him, but also dang, you gotta respect. That was pretty sick. So I love Pong Krell. I love what he brought to the show. That was the first episode, because I was watching. I was like, dude, this needs to get more intense for me. This is too much of a kid show. And he was one of the first episodes I remember where I was like, all right, this is legit. I can watch this now. And so,
I
Probably
think the
Funko for
Citadel, the whole arc of the Citadel and Echo going out, I thought that was pretty dark. Like
Yes.
how you
Yeah.
well, even the Citadel in concept was dark. Like a
Right.
place where you shove rogue Jedi to die. Like a half planet where the Jedi practically get tortured until they die. Kind of that's dark for one. And then like obviously the Republic got rid of that, and the Jedi Order kind of was like, "No, we ain't gonna use that no more. We're just gonna put you in a prison cell."
Or
But
Yoda. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, it's all
But
good.
I started thinking about when Yoda fought his dark self.
Yeah,
That was
pretty dark.
Yeah,
That was pretty dark.
and then once he comes into contact with Bane, you know what I mean? I thought that Sacrifices was a very good episode, you know what I mean? Because it kind of, he went after his dark self, Insidious, and then he had the encounter with Bane, you know what I mean? So that was a pretty interesting moment, and
That was one of my
darker.
that was one of my favorite story arcs, just because it brought Bane
Yeah.
into canon.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of like
Exactly.
Bane was now canonized.
Right.
Now we
You
can
know, I
have
don't-
a live action Bane or a cartoon Bane, and we won't get that canon non canon argument crap.
I don't care about canon and legends crap anyway. I like it all as Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that was that was one of my favorite. I was like, oh, it's Bane. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. The first time we seen Bane on the TV or on
Right.
the big screen, so it was like yes, because then that brought in the opportunity. Now they could bring in Revan. Now they could bring in the
Exactly.
all the other. Yeah, that was just
Well,
that was,
they had hinted towards Revan in I think season 6. Like they had talked a little bit about his sacrifice as a Jedi. Like you had like a little bit of a storytelling in that, and it was like, all right.
well.
okay.
Then also Bane was supposed to be in the season 30, but they took him out at the George Lucas took him out. He was part of the. He was in one of the. I think he was one of the statues inside the temple on at the. Brain work. The freaking brother, sister, and father arc.
Oh, the Mortis?
Yeah, the Mortis
Yeah.
arc. Yeah. He was supposed. The two statues, one of Bane
Yep.
and one of somebody else, and it was either Bane or the Emperor and Revan was supposed to be in that, and they cut it out.
Yeah. That would have been good.
So
I think overall, I think it has its dark and its light, and we could literally just not decipher, but we can look at it and be like, okay, I'm gonna let my kids watch this, but at the same time, if they have the questions, I got to be prepared to have that conversation of why it's like that, and hey, this isn't that thing, and this isn't real, but it at the same time, it is kind of real with certain
Right.
aspects of it all. I think overall, I don't think it's bad for kids, but at the same time, I don't think it's the best until your kids are a little bit older and can understand the situation at hand.
What about Lego Star Wars, though? I mean, that's pretty tame.
now okay, because we kind of been like classifying all the cartoons into like one bundle, and to me, Resistance is all good for kids.
Absolutely.
All the shorts is
Yeah.
good for
Yeah.
kids. The Lego Star Wars is good for kids. Let's see, what else do we have? We have, like all the little shorts. We have Visions. I don't think Visions. No kids can
No.
watch Visions. Visions is pretty bad. I mean, there's a lot of killing in Visions. Well, just some of the Visions.
Depends on the episode.
Yeah, it depends on the episode of Visions.
The little droid boy was flipping.
Yeah,
Astro Boy? You mean Astro Boy?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's certain stuff that is very like you have to like be there watching it with your kids, and then I think there's certain stuff that you could put on the shorts all day or put on Resistance.
Right.
Resistance didn't have like. I think that's one of the reasons I didn't like Resistance really, because I was like, dude, this is just too kiddie. Like
Probably.
it's just too much. It's too kid friendly. Like it wasn't like honestly, I don't think it was made for adults. It was just made for children, and I think the Rebels and Clone Wars and the Bad Batch is more multi age ranged.
Right.
Somebody that's older can watch it and a kid. Where it's not too dark, but it's not too just like
Right.
just pacifying some children.
I have a quick question for Kim. Do you is that Lula in the background in front of Wrecker? Is that what I'm
Yes.
seeing? Yes.
It is.
I'm sorry. I saw the ears and I was like, I gotta ask. I can't help it. I can't hold it back no more. I've been waiting to go to Galaxy's Edge and buy it. I didn't want to get it off Etsy as much as I love Etsy. And yes, fans, I am pulling up Etsy. Fight me.
Every episode, Essie comes up. It's just
Sponsor.
that's a CJ thing. That and Sam.
No, Sam Witwer. I've talked about Mr. Witwer himself. So,
All right, you guys ready to get to the what if?
Yes.
It only takes one decision to decide the direction of the galaxy. A decision that will influence the outcome. But if that decision went the other way, reality as we know it would change forever. The galaxy would be on a different course. Things that have happened would cease to exist. A new narrative would be etched into creation. So we are going to analyze those other possibilities when we ask, what if?
Okay, so this week's what if question is, what if Anakin never got to Padme and they never had no kids? How would the things turned out?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a what
I
if
don't-
I haven't thought about.
Like as in he never met Padme.
No, they never hooked up. So
Oh,
he
I-
never
fell
was
in
able to
love.
woo her.
I think that everything would have been different. I don't think. I feel like his love for her, it's a huge factor into why he even embraced the dark side to begin with. I mean, you know what I mean? He wanted to save her. You know what I mean? So if he wasn't getting that information through the Jedi, he was going to go to the dark side. So it's like if they had never gotten together, I think he would have stayed light. I really do.
I still think so. With Sith, it's a lot like love wasn't necessarily fueling him as a Sith. It was hate, right? Hate about everything and anything and everything. And I think a lot of his internal struggle was his hate for like how the Jedi treated him and how, you know, he was never given a chance, or how he didn't get to become a master, or how,
Or was continuously lied
you know,
to.
he was taken away from his mother and like, you know, continuously exactly. So I think he still might have left the Jedi Order. Now, would he be gone full Sith? No, because I feel like that love for Padme was his extra justification for turning bad.
Yeah.
But I think he was already on the path to leaving the Jedi because he was just so full of hate, and because there were so many other problems that Anakin had with the Jedi and so many other struggles he had without Padme even in the picture. So I think Padme was just the extra thing to send him over the edge, but I still think he was already kind of on that path a little bit.
I gotta agree with my woman on this. She says, I personally think that, and I'm not doing that to save face because I love arguing with her, but she said, I personally think that Padme was the reason that he didn't turn sooner. I feel like she was his light side. And when he realized he couldn't save her, it's what made him try to go extra about it and go and seek out ways of Sith alchemy. Practically, that's what, you know, bringing somebody back to life was. And I think without Padme, I agree with Garrison. I feel like he would have just went ham. I think he would have been tired of getting lied to. He would have been tired of getting deceived. And like, yeah, I think in Clone Wars, they killed Obi-Wan, and it pissed him off. His face at the memorial service in the temple.
Oh yeah.
There was Darth Vader already there. He was right there staring at his best friend's grave. And the same thing when Ahsoka left. He was resentful that they did that to Ahsoka to a point where he was done. Like, you can't, you're trying to convict somebody of something that you don't have enough evidence on. Like,
Well, think about it like this. Now look at it at another point of view. Anakin was determined. I mean, it was fated that he became Darth Vader. That's why the shadow that he casted in leaving Tatooine was the shadow of Vader on the wall. He was destined to become that anyway. So I think he was going to become Vader. I think he was going to become a Sith. But I don't think that the way that it played out would have been the same. I think, like you guys said, that he gets resentful, and I think that him not knowing about the situation, Him not knowing about, why the Jedi did Ahsoka the way they did, not understanding that, kind of pushed him further to that side. And I do believe that Padme was one of the reasons he stayed to the light for so long, trying to impress her. But at the same time, he was destined to become Vader. From his birth, he was destined to become a Sith. I think that Palpatine would have figured out a different way to convert him in becoming Darth Vader. Now, would he been the shape or would have the helmet and all that stuff? I think that it could have been a plane crash, or not a plane crash, but one of the ships crash or something that caused them to be mangled. But I think at some point, because of Padme's just overall, just how she came to the Senate, I think that there would have been a point that he might have had to face her. Instead of, him trying to save her and turning to the dark side. I think him turning to the dark side and having to face her at some point. Like in, the Senate or whatever happened. But I do not think that the Empire would have came about the same way. I don't think that it would have happened that way. I think that Palpatine would have figured out another way to blackmail the Jedi and Order 66 and all that. I think everything would have happened, but I think that it wouldn't have been the same. Now, the real question is, who now kills Vader and Palpatine since Luke isn't there now?
Ooh.
Because Padme, they don't have no kids. There's no Princess Leia. There's no Luke Skywalker. So how does I think the Empire just stays in control.
Ahsoka.
You think Ahsoka?
Yeah.
That would be such a cool alternate reality, like Ahsoka coming back and that would be cool.
Well, she beat him in Rebels. So
yeah, we kind of saw that in the world between worlds, kind of. She got him, and then you saw that light side transfer in that fight where his eye kind of went back to normal. And then she said something, and he flashed back into Vader real quick. Like, they're still good. Like, that was that argument we had, Wednesday, not Wednesday, but last Saturday about Vader was, yeah, we know that he was bad, but at the same time, they're still good at him. Just like Luke said,
Ahsoka could have. I don't think Ahsoka could have brought that good back out in him. Not really. It took his child to do that. Ahsoka, I don't think so. I think Ahsoka would have to kill him.
I think a longer moment where Snips could have done something to persuade him more. Because in that moment, they're fighting. If she could have gotten him in a moment where he was stuck and he couldn't move, and she talked to him and tapped into that, hey, this is what's going on. You can't, this isn't the master I knew. She didn't really get that conversation. She just kept saying, you're Anakin Skywalker. And Vader just got pissed. And that's why he flashed back into Vader instead of trying to go back to the light. He saw his former protege and kind of got, what's Twitter baited? Would that be? I don't think that would be the right word. I'm sorry. I just tried to pull Kyle all of a sudden. I feel like that flash kind of would have been longer if she could have been able to persuade him more.
Well, I think because he loved Padme so much, the only people that could bring him back from the dark side were people that reminded him of Padme, were Luke and Leia. When Padme's out of the picture, I think his closest relationships were probably Obi-Wan and Ahsoka.
Well, you remember on the Mortis arc when he was confronted, well, not confronted, but he was talking with a man and they were discussing how his two kids, you got the light side, you got the dark side, and he was the balance between the two. And he said that Anakin should have been the balance between them two. And Anakin had the vision, but he forgot it, obviously. So should he have embraced that and become the medium between the light and the dark on Mortis? Or
at that point, he don't have Padme to go back to, so he might have.
Right.
So none of this stuff could have probably happened because then he would have been in control of everything because he's in control of the Force at that point.
That's what I was always
that's
wondering.
A good point. That's a good point.
Completely forgot about the Mortis arc, and we've talked about it the last 3 episodes.
I think the Mortis arc is one of the best. The Mortis arc was pretty dark now that we think about it. The Mortis arc was dark. A lot of people said the father died, the sister died.
The brother portrayed freaking Shmi.
Yeah.
At one point was trying to tell him.
Or whatever that creature was. That was some dark stuff. That was some dark stuff.
He wasn't going to leave Padme behind, which brought him back. You know what I mean? So if he had stayed and became that balance, everything, you know what I mean, would have been different. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. But
Well, your opinion is valid because
Yeah, that's a valid point.
that is like I didn't
Without
even think
Padme, he
about that.
probably would have been the balance, like you said. I think he would have stayed. I think he would have
That's
been
why I
like, "Yo,
love the.
I'm the chosen one. Deal. I'll take it." Like,
yeah,
That's one of the reasons I love the sequels is because there's enough going on where you can kind of take your own you can draw your own conclusions from it. You know what I mean? It's deep
prequels?
enough where everyone can there can be different motivations and different things going on because
the
it's
prequels, right? You
vague
said
and
sequels.
deep enough. Or sorry, in the prequels, right?
Yeah, I
right.
was gonna say,
You'd be like,
In the
Sequels were
prequels,
terrible.
it's vague and
wow,
deep
Garrison
enough.
did a flip the whole
for-
180 on us.
Yeah.
"Who converted
You know
you?
what
I
I
need to
mean?
talk to them."
It's vague and deep enough where we can draw kind of our own conclusions about it, which I think is awesome.
Well, there was enough plot holes in the prequel trilogies that you could kind of steer off into some different directions anyway.
I don't know if I'd say plot holes, more just like holes. More just
Yeah.
like stuff left.
More
Just
like-
I
holes.
don't know.
There's a lot
It's-
of holes. Shit, Star Wars looks like Swiss cheese. All
Swiss
right.
cheese don't look as holy as the
Every time you turn around, it's a new plot hole in a new hole in Star Wars. Like, no, what? Y'all just left that just big open spot. Like, what goes there? Yeah, there's a lot. I think that's one of the reasons I like the what if question so much because it really makes you think about all the different things that could happen within Star Wars or could have happened.
right.
Like, just imagine the entire empire turned into vampires. You know, you know what I'm saying? And they were or zombies or something. And all these worlds like flying around in space, zombies just taking over planets. Like, dude, that would be crazy.
We got that with the Geonosians. Just
Yeah.
saying.
But I mean, they could have took that way farther. It could have been way worse.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we got some news and rumors today.
Yes, I have
All right.
some news. Okay, to start off, Celebration is next month at the end of it. We all know this. Well, they keep dropping some little stuff. Star Wars Celebration 2022 will feature a must-see panel for upcoming live-action Star Wars, including Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor in Mandalorian Season 3. John and Dave have openly stated that they are going to have a panel itself just about Mando. They're going to be trying to bring in people that were there. You know, we've already got confirmed that Carl Weathers is going to be there, and a few other actors that are in the show itself, like the Frog Lady. I can't remember her name. The first trailer for Andor is reportedly expected to debut during Celebration, which would make sense.
Yeah,
I'm excited to actually see what it's.
that's awesome.
They also pulled up the fact that they're going to have a panel just by itself for, well, the Bad Batch and talk about season 2 and what fans should expect or speculate on. And they're going to try and drop a little kind of just like some photos of some scenery, I guess you could say. That
You
celebration.
know they're gonna put out a lot of stuff about because Bad Batch is the next thing that's gonna happen. So they gotta release some stuff at celebrations because if not, it's like everybody's gonna be infatuated with Kenobi, which we all are. You know, that's okay.
Right.
But at the same time, they got to put out something out there so we're watching Kenobi and we're anticipating the Bad Batch coming out. If they don't do that, that would be like the worst marketing ever.
I heard a rumor that Omega was going to be older in the second season.
Yeah,
I don't know
actually,
if that's yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's true either, but I've seen like 4 or 5 different news posts that saying that it's supposed to be some time passed before,
Right.
so she's going to be older.
Also, after 6 years of a kind of hiatus from social media, Daisy Ridley returned with a lovely photo of her sitting in a chair drinking tea with a mask on. She kind of went into
So how do we really know that's her?
no, an eye cover like a
Oh.
sleep kind of thing, but not the point. But they after 6 years, she went into kind of this hiatus for a fact of it's hard being a Star Wars actor.
Well,
I
she
mean,
got
we saw what it did to Jake Lloyd. You know, it led him to a point where now he is institutionalized for the rest of his life because of the bullying. We saw what it did to Hayden Christensen. We saw what it did to can't remember her name in
Rose.
Rose, yeah.
Yeah.
We saw that and how Hayden responded and was like, "Hey, they're gonna hate you right now, but give it about 10 years and you're gonna be a loved character. Look at me. Everybody hated me, and now I'm so loved. You know, everybody wants me back, and it will happen to you." Where's the rest of my news? Yeah, like I said, John and Dave will be leading their own panel. Like they are literally sitting there with 100,000 fans. I'm going to pull that back up. Like the fact that they were like, yo, I know we're busy making stuff, but we need to go to Celebration and talk about this because you guys are going to love this. And it's going to be monstrous. David Collins will host the Bad Batch panel. I forgot to state that David Collins, who is one of the main writers. And honestly, I'm stuck on this Bad Batch thing. I'm sorry. I didn't want it to end the first time. I'm ready for Kenobi. I'm ready for Bad Batch.
Yep.
So
I swear time is moving in slow motion waiting on Kenobi. I thought it was bad in The Mandalorian season 2, and I thought it was bad for the Bad Batch, but it's like God, is it tomorrow yet? When is oh man, when is this gonna come out? Like, oh God, I want to watch this. I told myself, do not get too excited about this. Like, don't get too hyped up because we've seen what happened with the Book of Boba Fett. Like, don't get too excited because you might be disappointed. Don't let your expectations be that high. But I don't know what it is. I can't help it, man. The Bad Batch. I mean, the Kenobi. I just can't wait. I'm like, oh, I want to see Kenobi, and it's just taking forever.
Does anybody else have any news? I mean, I know I've hit Celebration pretty heavy, but
the Hollywood Reporter reported that Peter Ramsey from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse won an Oscar and all that is set to at least direct one of the Ahsoka episodes, which is pretty good. That dude won like an Oscar, and he won an Oscar for the co-director of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and then like this dude's done some stuff, and he was the first black filmmaker to win an animated feature Oscar. So, and then he got he's basically Star Wars is bringing him in to do one of the Ahsoka series. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is.
What else? I had something else here. Give me a second. And everything else is Lego Star Wars. You want to know everything about Lego Star Wars? Just look up Star Wars news because there's 1,000 posts on Lego Star Wars.
I haven't played it yet.
Seriously.
I have not played
It's kind of fun.
Yeah. I want
I'm
to.
gonna get it. I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna play a video game. So if y'all don't see me for about a month, that's all right.
The cool thing is like you can get Anakin, and with certain characters, if you keep hitting, because like if you hit him in the air, you'll stay in the air, and because Anakin doesn't like die, like the little kids don't die, you can just keep hitting him and basically fly.
Oh my god. Yeah, I need to get that game. I need it.
All right.
Let's see. Is there anything else popping up over here?
Quiz time?
Not really. There just wasn't too much. Everything has to do with Lego Star Wars. Like there's like a couple posts, but it's not nothing that's really, really big news. Like it's just.
Sorry, I had to go pee. I couldn't hold it anymore.
Thank you for letting us know that. You could have just said, all right, I had to do something. You know,
I know. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest here. We're honest. I just couldn't hold it anymore. I was sitting here shaking in my seat. Are we still on news?
Yeah, we're still on news.
I have action figure news. I have a lot of action figure news. There's so much.
All right, go ahead, because I'm going to read this article before I start talking about it.
Figure Dan from the Jizz Band has his own action figure.
Why?
Who's that?
Man, why are you?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
He's got his own action figure. I'm so excited. They are dropping a Death Watch Airborne Trooper and a Mandalorian Super Commando. The gaming greats, you know how we have, Luke Skywalker and Thrawn, and they did the whole Black Chrysanthemum Gaming Greats box. Well, we got Leia. We got all white Darth Vader.
What?
Swag.
Interesting.
All white
Drip.
Darth Vader, Kyle. Look at this.
That's cool looking though. I like that.
Yeah. And he comes in a cool box. They have a stormtrooper, a storm commander trooper with a lightsaber, and it's a green lightsaber. And
I seen a Funko Pop like that the other day.
And then I think there's one more thing. If I could hurry up and find it in my little section here of stuff. Come on now. Load phone. Oh, and they dropped where? Oh, I just saw it. What are you doing? Anytime now, phone. Oh, and you can now pre-order most of the stuff that they've been dropping as of yesterday.
As of yesterday.
Yes, so yesterday they allowed you to pick up the ARC troopers that I talked about last week, and the clone commandos, the Ahsoka box where she's got Grogu and it's on the planet where she first has that conversation with Grogu. It's a box set, and then you can get an all stormtrooper box. It's a big box with 4 stormtroopers, and you can.
All right,
That's
you're gonna have to get with the times and like send me these pictures so I can just post.
I
them.
know.
You're holding your phone up to the screen is like really, really like.
It's counterproductive, okay?
We're going low budget on this one. We're just holding the phone up to the camera.
Hey, we're a fan-made film, okay? We be low budget. Oh, I forgot the most important one. You can get Saw Gerrera from Rogue One.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw
that's
Garrison
dope.
look
That's
up.
dope. That's dope.
And you can pre-order that now. Like I said, most of these are out for pre-order. I can't do it. Yeah, there we go.
Google it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh
Like I said,
God,
you
man!
can
Why did they
pre-order
keep?
them.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm looking through news and it's just they keep bringing up this stupid Star Trek, Star Wars intermingle crap. Like, don't do that, man. Y'all gonna ruin Star
They're
Wars.
separate.
Like, dude, don't we bringing Star Trek into Star Wars? I don't know why people keep talking about that. Like, just stop talking about it because if you keep talking about Disney, they'll think, oh, this is a good idea. Do that stupid. Let's buy the Star Trek franchise too, and then we'll just intermingle them. And next thing you know, we'll have Wolverine fighting Captain Kirk and Darth Vader at the same time. Like, don't do that. Leave that alone. Leave Star Wars alone.
Wolverine would lose, and Kirk wouldn't stand a chance. I think Wolverine would kill Kirk, and then Vader would kill Wolverine.
Like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to kill Wolverine. You know, you can't a lightsaber cut through his skeletal
Adamantium?
thing? Adamantium, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we're going to find out. Thank you, Disney. No. On next week's episode, no. That's it for the news on my end.
Yeah, there ain't much on. There wasn't.
That you may want to share by chance, or did I take anything by accident?
I'm good.
No.
Quiz time?
Oh no.
Well, nobody asked our lovely host
Kim.
here.
Kim,
Kim,
you have
if she
anything?
had any news.
I did.
yours.
Oh no,
you didn't.
I
You
don't.
suck.
The only news I had was Bad Batch, but it's still like my Bad Batch
the
has been
Bad
my main
Batch.
focus
Yeah.
lately. Yeah.
Well, as we see with Wrecker in the background back there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Perfect.
That's
Okay.
so awesome.
Dude, when we first
I have
logged on,
a-
I was scared. I was like, look out! Someone's behind you!
This is the first Wrecker thing I bought, and then when I got my welding helmet, I had it painted to be Wrecker's helmet.
Yes.
So when I work now, I feel slightly explosive. I've caught myself on fire a few times. It's quite nice.
All right, so we get into the quiz. You ready, Garrison? Ain't you doing the quiz questions?
I am
before we
horrible
get
at
to
quizzes. Okay. I'm
okay,
horrible.
before we get to the quiz, we thought this would be a good idea. You tell us what you guys think. Okay. How about next week, next Saturday, the fans come on and y'all ask us the quiz questions inside the chat and we'll answer them. See if you guys can stump us. Y'all find some quiz questions that we might not know and ask us. That sound like a good idea?
I'm game for it. Just know I will have questions just in case if you guys want to be very vacant in the chat. I will be the fallback, but I expect our fans to be coming
Yeah.
out and hurting our feelings with these questions.
Hurting our feelings.
Listen, I'm horrible with quizzes to begin with. Like, I get so many brain farts. So, like,
It's all right.
Yeah.
If you don't know the answer, just do like me and just say crazy shit. I'll just off the wall, crazy stuff. All right, ready?
Stop right there, you rebel scum. Prepare yourself for the Star Wars Impossible quiz. Blast them.
I still think that one stormtrooper is very hesitant to be standing there. He's up here like, I don't know if I want to be in front. Like, I see how these guys shoot. I don't know if I can do this.
All right.
Serpentine.
So I got 10-ish questions for you. All right.
You said 10-ish?
10-ish. Well, some of them are like kind of like two questions in one. So, you know what I mean?
You're trying to hit us with a
All
hard
right.
crap.
Question number 1. Where did the inspiration for the design of R2-D2 come from?
A trash can.
Why you guys steal my answer?
Oh, you're so close, but no. And bonus
trying to
points if you get super specific. But
I was gonna say something else, but I don't know if that would be okay.
No.
Okay, I'll just say it, a sex toy.
no.
Just never mind.
No guesses? Wow, I feel like Charlie. This is supposed to be what Charlie felt like when she stumped you. Okay.
I'm
So
gonna get stumped
the
a lot.
inspiration for R2 comes from the robots Huey, Dewey, and Louie from the 1972 film Silent Running.
Huh.
Really?
I
I
wouldn't
thought
guess
Huey,
that.
Dewey, and Louie was part of was Donald Duck's nephew.
So that's what I thought for a second when I read the names.
I'm so confused.
That confused the hell out of me. Like, what are we talking about? Scrooge McDuck here? Are we talking about DuckTales?
Yes.
All right. Which character caused Universal Studios to sue George Lucas?
What?
Which character caused Universal Studios to sue George Lucas?
Which characters?
Oh,
Why do I feel like I
Han
know
Solo.
No, just one character.
There's one character. I
um,
just said characters. Darth Vader.
No.
Han Solo.
No.
Was it? Boba.
No.
C-3PO.
No.
Princess Leia.
No.
Can you give me the
Okay.
time
You guys
frame?
don't-
Hold on. I didn't even
TJ,
get
do you
to
have a
guess.
guess?
Hold on. Can you give me a time frame? Was it in the original trilogy or the prequel?
It was the original trilogy.
Okay.
The messed up thing, I remember reading this article. I just don't remember.
I want to
who
say
it
the
was.
Tusken Raiders.
Nope. It was R2-D2 because he looked just like the robots from Silent Running. So
Oh wow, that's
I
wild.
gave you a huge hit right before.
Oh no.
All right. Question number 3. What commonly known species in the original Star Wars trilogy is never actually named in the movies? CJ.
Wookiees.
I guess that is true, but no.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Ewoks.
Ewoks. Ewoks
I
was
know-
the answer I was looking for. I
There's-
think, doesn't Han Solo name Wookiee?
No.
Nah, he was like, yeah, Wookiee will rip your arms off.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I guess it
Really?
was a vague question. There are a crap ton of species, but that was,
Yeah.
it was
yeah, you
Ewoks.
could see like Rhodians, Dathomirians. Like, there's so many.
I don't think
Alright.
none of them was in the original trilogy. I don't remember
Rhodians.
seeing it.
Well, they're like in
Greedos and
passing,
Rhodians.
but Ewoks were like a main species that were like really in it. You know what I mean? All right. Bad question. My bad guy. All right. Question number 4. Return of the Jedi almost had a very different ending. What did the creators consider for this alternate ending?
Luke turns to the dark side.
Yes, CJ. CJ, you get the point.
Yes.
I actually had, when Luke takes off Vader's helmet, he puts it on and says, "I am Vader now."
Yes. Because I
can
just
I can
found
bring
that
that
out
up.
though recently. Yeah.
That would have been so dope.
That
would've
would
been
have been
sick.
interesting.
That would have been the
would've been
dopest
crazy.
thing ever.
The sequels would have been a lot better in my eyes.
Now they got to kill Luke Skywalker. Now Leia's coming after Luke.
I feel like at that point, like I don't know who would be able to stop them.
Leia.
Leia.
You think?
Leia was more powerful than Luke. She just
Well,
never.
well,
But Luke wouldn't have
Never-
been there
yeah.
to train her in trainer, so would she have
Yeah, she
became
would
as
have found a
powerful?
way. She would have found a way.
I think they'd have just blew up the Death Star and he would have still been on there. That would have been the end of all of it anyway.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right.
Yeah.
This is an easy one, but it's also a tricky one. Question number 5. How many toes does Yoda have? I think we've talked about this before, but CJ.
Oh,
Any-
Kim, what did you say?
Kim?
You shot
Kim?
first.
Oh, I thought it was 3 on each toe, but I could be wrong. I'll
Three
say
on
Four.
each.
But yeah.
Yeah?
CJ, what were you going to say?
4. He's got 1 in the back and 3 in the front.
Technically, you're both right. In the original trilogy, he has 4, but in the prequels, he only has 3.
That makes sense.
Oh, that's just weird.
I know, yeah.
That's probably why he talks the way he talks. Lack of toes.
Lack of balance. That's why he hops around.
That's why you got to use a cane, but he can fly everywhere.
All right, question number 6. What is the only Star Wars movie in which the name Skywalker is never spoken?
Ooh.
The only
CJ.
No, hold on.
Eh.
Hold on. Oh gosh, now I had it. The name.
I
in my
want to
head
say
and I
New
can't-
Hope, but I could be
Nope.
wrong.
You said Star Wars movie, so that means all of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, all of them.
Solo and Rogue One.
Technically, it's Rogue One. Yep. Good job, CJ.
I was gonna say Dark Talon takes on Hollywood.
I was like trying to flip through all the movies in my head. I'm like, okay, let me think. Let me
Well,
think.
Solo. I know Solo didn't because it was about Han Solo, so you didn't hear anything about a Skywalker. And then Rogue
Unless-
One, obviously,
Yeah.
it wasn't anything about any Skywalkers. So
All right, maybe this. I found that question in a website that was before. So it just said Rogue One, and the one I found out, and I double checked this. So I was like, okay, cool. Okay, number 7. R2D2 and C3PO guest starred on what TV show in the 1980s?
Ooh.
CJ.
the Muppets.
Maybe.
They did
But
with
this
Luke.
is-
They did with Mark Hamill.
Oh, they did. Right, but this is just those two I'm talking about.
Oh.
Just R2 and C3PO.
When they on the David Letterman show
No, this is a
or
kid
Johnny?
show.
It's a kid show.
Oh,
Kid show.
Sesame
I'm
Street.
sorry. Sesame Street, yeah. Sorry, bad question. Piggybacking off of that question, though, in this guest appearance, R2D2 has a romantic interest with who or what?
It's Piggy.
Kyle.
No?
Was it Miss Piggy?
No. It's
No.
just in
I was
Sesame
gonna say
Street.
Oscar the Grouch.
No, in Sesame Street. No. I like the whole trash can idea, but no.
She's trying to give me answers from the living room.
I
you
heard
hear
her
her?
yell.
Yeah, she's like,
Elmo?
No
I,
ideas?
Is that what she yelled? Elmo?
no, she said
Elmo?
because the
No.
previous question was Sesame Street, and you hear Sesame Street, and I'm like, I already answered that.
Oh.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, they're on a bit of a lag, I think. No
Uh,
ideas? Wow, I'm so good at this. What the flip?
Hey,
I've even
so-
spelled most of the chat.
Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna say the Cookie
Nice
Monster
try. Okay.
because he's blue.
Correct answer was a fire hydrant.
A fire hydrant. That's not a
Yes.
character. That's a
I said-
yes,
I said-
object.
Listen to me specifically. I said who or what.
Ah,
Hey. Yeah,
hey,
see?
there's the trickiness.
Yes. All right, question number 9. What episode in what Star Wars TV show had to be censored for the original television screening? I'll give you a point for each of those. Kyle.
The one that the Satine where Maul kills Satine, that was censored. In the Clone Wars, shade of whatever the name of the episode is. I can't
Shade of
remember the name.
Darkness.
But
I think
that
in
one
this
was
one is-
censored.
Okay.
The entire Ewok crappy TV series that should have been censored. That's the only one I got. That one. I know that one was censored just because I was looking it up when I was creating a thumbnail today.
Okay. Any other ones?
No, that's the only one I can think of.
There's some other ones. Chris got it. When Maul kills when the Black Sun gets decapitated in the episode Eminence. That one was also censored. They cut out that part for the TV show in Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
But they allowed
Damn, I
everything
knew that
else.
too. I just didn't think of it because I was looking all that stuff up this morning when I was making the thumbnail for this episode. Damn.
Okay, question number 10. This is the last one I got for you guys. I'm feeling pretty good about myself now. What was Ahsoka's original name going to be, and what was it supposed to mean?
Oh, we've been asked this before.
I think we have.
It wasn't
Maybe
it wasn't a quiz question. It was one of the fans was talking about it that we brought on.
Somebody will get this. I know somebody will get this. At least in the chat.
So her name wasn't originally supposed to be Ahsoka?
No,
No.
it
There's something
wasn't supposed
close
to be.
to it, but
Yeah, I have no idea.
It wasn't.
What is it? Was it
Leia.
Alicia?
close, but no.
Alice?
No.
Allison?
No. Addison.
Addison?
Wife of Garrison. Yes.
I know it was like it was like a normal name. It was like a normal name, and then they kind of
I don't like that. I don't like that. I like Ahsoka Tano. That's
Well, Ahsoka
worked.
in Japanese is light, is like the brighter side, like the brighter light of things, and it means serenity and peace at the same time.
Right.
So that name really suited her because she was really kind of just a light side of everything going on. She always made it light.
It was supposed to be like a word for, like the word for the Force's light side of the Force, right? And it was supposed to be Ashla.
Oh, like Ashland and Bogan
Yeah.
from the books. Yeah, that would have been dope. But I don't know. I like Ahsoka.
Wow.
I don't think I could see her being named anything else other than Ahsoka. Like that.
I
Was,
can't
Ahsoka's just
either.
they went with the right choice. Ahsoka's
yeah,
They definitely
it's a
did.
good
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
that's like
Perfect.
yeah, that's I like if somebody was like her name is Ashla, I'd been like, no, it's not. It's Ahsoka. Like it just like they couldn't just like. I guess if it was always Ashla, we'd probably be saying the same thing. If they was like her original name was supposed to be Ahsoka, we'd be like, nah, it's Ashla. What are you talking about? Yeah, we'd probably
That's true.
but exact opposite.
Yeah.
But like if they tried to change it now, it'd be like, dude, you're stupid. Like, what are you doing? It's
Wait,
like
so they
changing Boba Fett.
were they still gonna keep Tano at the end? Or no?
I
I
hope
don't know.
not.
I just saw I just saw the Ashla name.
I know on the series it's just Ahsoka. It's not Ahsoka Tano on the series.
Yeah.
It's just Ahsoka. But like they don't really use last names too much other than Anakin. Like you don't hear Yoda's last name. You don't hear. I mean, I guess
Kenobi!
you only hear Kenobi's last name, but like everybody else, Qui-Gon, Mace.
Right.
I mean, yeah, well, they say Mace Windu. I guess it's like a 50-50 if you really think about it.
Yeah, Master
So-
Windu.
I guess all of them is
Kenobi.
mastered by their last name except Yoda, because Yoda don't have a last name. Like
doesn't
nobody
need a
know
last
crap about Yoda. Like that's what they need to make. I swear that's what they need to make. They
No.
need to make a
Leave the
freaking
mystery. I like the
Yoda.
mystery.
I like the mystery. Yeah.
No,
I wanna
because
know.
I'd rather never know than them do something bad with it.
Yeah.
I think that they could
This
do
is
it really
true.
good, like a young. Well, think about it. They're talking about making a movie off of the Old Republic, so we might see it. We might see a little bit more and learn a little bit more about Yoda. But I don't know, because if you go off the stupid books, Yoda ain't in none of them so far that I've read. Well, no, he was in one.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about the
he
Old
was-
Republic books? He was
yeah,
in the
the new-
first one.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the first one.
I thought it was the first one.
No,
was
he
in.
ain't. Actually, he ain't in none of them. I'm thinking of Dooku, because when he's in Dooku, yeah. I don't think he's in none of the books yet, because they don't know where he's at. When all this is going on, they don't know where Yoda is at.
What, in the Old Republic?
In the Old Republic books and the New Republic or whatever the new books are.
Oh, the High Republic.
The High Republic, yeah, that's it. They don't talk about Yoda at all.
Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures, an ongoing comic book and book series. It
Just
does
the books. I
feature
don't read
Yoda.
the comics.
It does feature Yoda on a
Where?
sabbat. He's on a. It tells you in the book that he's on a sabbatical from the Jedi Temple in the moment.
Yeah, but he's not in the books. He's
still
not doing
mentioned.
anything.
He's mentioned-
They just
he's
mention it.
mentioned
Oh,
that-
he's on sabbatical. They say that a lot of times, but you don't ever hear Yoda fighting nobody or coming to Chris's aid or anybody else's aid. You don't hear none of that. All you hear, he's on sabbatical. So where is he on sabbatical at? Where's he at? Like, come on, this is the High Republic and Yoda's not there. He's 900 years old when he died.
He's on the Twi'lek planet enjoying the brothels that you have started. Jesus, let him have his sabbatical.
You know, he's kind of short.
Man, Kylus.
I wonder if like little people syndrome works for him. Like, you know, that they're normal in certain areas, but they're small in other areas.
I don't know.
I wonder if that works for Yoda.
No, we're not getting into this. Oh,
Bro, speaking of, I saw Brian Williams Thursday night. The comedian.
Really?
Nobody knows who he is. Bro, he's so funny. It was
I know who you're talking. Are you talking about Brad?
Shit.
Brad Williams?
Or
Not
Brad
Brian.
Brad Williams. I'm sorry, I'm not Brian.
I love his jokes. I love when he talks about his wife.
Yeah, dude. It was so funny, dude. It was great.
You know, I think they need to get to play like, let's see who. I think that they need to get like Kevin Hart and Cat Williams to play something in Star Wars.
Oh my god.
I think that would be just hilarious.
We could make them like stormtroopers on like a bad planet. Like they're defective. Like they enlisted because they're healthy, but they're short, so they get like stuck on like a short people planet, and they're just having a conversation.
You can't do Cat unless he's a pimp for a toilet brothel. Sorry, that's the only way I see Cat. He's a pimp, bro. He embodies it. Look how he dresses.
I think that would be hilarious. All right. Like, we got anything else? Anybody else got anything want to bring up? Hey, remember next week, guys. Hey, Bodie Collections. Where we talked about earlier. I don't think you was in the chat, but next week, next Saturday, y'all get to ask us the questions. So get y'all's questions ready and see if y'all can stump us.
That does mean show up and do it.
Huh?
That means show up and do it.
Yeah.
You got to show up.
We come at 11 Eastern time on Saturday.
I'm
I'm joking.
9 o'clock Western.
Well, thanks again to Kim for joining us. This was a huge blast. Huge pleasure.
Yes. I was really nervous. I was nervous, but it was very casual. I like it.
Yeah.
I think at one point I had a brain fart, but I think
it's all right. I get those every episode.
Chris asked, come with 2 questions. As many questions as you can get. As many
questions y'all can get. Whoa.
Hit us.
Yeah, just hit us up
in the chat. Long ass quiz.
Yeah, but you know, some of the questions, you know, people think are hard and they're not really hard. We know the answers. But then other questions, we're going to be like, oh, crap, what the hell?
Hey, Kyle, you're overpromising. You undersell and overdeliver. You don't say we can answer and then you fail.
Hey, how many questions do I get right ever? Like, I probably got like 10 questions in 6 months right. So, you know, I just say crazy stuff. It's never a fact of, do I know the answers? What craziness am I going to say? Because I don't know the answer. That's what you got to look out for. You never know what I might say. All right, so thanks everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification so you guys know when all of our episodes come out, which most of you guys know anyway. They're 11 on Saturday and 9 on Wednesday, 9 on Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time. And make sure you hit that thumbs up so we can get this video in front of more people and they can enjoy an outrageousness. So I think that's it. All right, guys ready? Peace.
See you guys.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. They're linked in the show notes below. LightSaber Radio is produced by Pick Film Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Charlie Harwood, Garrison Turcott, CJ Elliott, and Carl McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.